Let me start with him. Yes, Ronnie. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Ronnie here. I am a filmmaker, and on part 2, I want to make my first comment on the form, the schedule, so it's part 2, 3, application for registration of copyright or neighboring rights on the form. Apparently, it's one form. For those who have a hard copy, it's on page. It's form 2, immediately after the currency points form. Application for registration of copyright or neighboring right act. That form 1. Yes, form 1. So we have the same form for registration of copyright and for neighboring rights. So I'm assuming as a producer, I'm assuming in the film industry, there are those that have copyright and there are those that have neighboring rights. So in case we feel that and we both register, do I end up having my performer, for example, ending up with a certificate she can present somewhere as though she has copyright? Because at the end of the day, we have one certificate. Do you get my? Yes, because it's the same work. It's the same work, and in the same work, I have copyright, and my performer has, for example, neighboring rights. So we both come to URSB, we both end up with a certificate that has different names, Ronnie Nkalubo as producer, for example, or author, writer, and then I have Brian, who is a performer with neighboring rights. But on the certificate, okay? On the certificate, we both receive. How does, for example, a distributor to whom we are supposed to sell differentiate that actually I am buying I am dealing with this one who has neighboring rights, or a person who is exploiting the copyright? Yeah, so that's the form. Now go on the certificates. Because it's the certificate that I will be asked for.
The certificate states that the register of copyright certifies that a copyright or neighboring right in the category of work named entitled. This has been registered in the name. Okay, I understand where you're coming from. So you're suggesting that we improve the certificate?
I am thinking there should be 2 different certificates.
Okay. All right.
So
we have a rapporteur over there. She's capturing that. Thank you.
Okay. My other concern on, because we're now talking about part 2. On part 2, number 15 and 16, where you talk about license to exploit orphan works. If I get a license to exploit an orphan work, for example, I make a film out of an orphaned work. It might be a book and I adapt it into a film. And when I go on payments, there is where you are saying, I'm going to pay first the application, that's okay, then the license to exploit the orphan work, which is 1 million. So I pay the 1 million and I go and make my film of that orphaned work. And 22 says annual license fee to exploit the orphaned work. In my second year of, for example, now my film is at distribution level. Do I keep paying the 1 million for each year? Or the money I paid and I got the rights to exploit an orphaned work is enough for me to exploit?
Renewal of a license is not 1 million.
Okay, renewal of a license is 200, 5,000. Do I come back and pay because I made a film out of an orphaned work?
The application is 1 million. The renewal is 205,000.
So what I'm saying, when
You
do
pay
I?
it every year.
Yeah, will I be paid because at that point my work is in distribution?
Yes, you'll be paying an annual renewal.
No, but what I was paying for originally was for me to exploit, for me to make a film out of that work. So what am I renewing?